Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for December 28, 2021, the Tribute to Desmond Tutu edition. We're going to save that story for the end. First up, from Reuters, Credit Suisse may take legal action against Softbank over Greensill debt. As many listeners will recall, Credit Suisse lost some $10 billion in funds linked to the insolvent supply chain finance firm Greensill. One of those big portions of $2.3 billion was ended up with Softbank, and so Credit Suisse is exploring whether they can move to take action against Softbank. More bad news for everybody. Next up, from Bloomberg, the Somali President has suspended the country's prime minister amid a corruption probe. President Mohammed Abdullah Mohammed suspended the powers of the prime minister and sent troops to his office, the latest fracas in a long-running dispute between the two men. The president accused the prime minister of corruption in a land deal with the National Army. The move was called an indirect coup by the deputy minister of information, and said the prime minister's suspension was unconstitutional and undermined the ability of the country to facilitate free and fair elections. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, federal prosecutors continue using racketeering statutes to go after a broader array of criminal activity, applying them in ways that deviate from the original goal of dismantling organized crime. This racketeering statute, known as RICO, the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organization Act, allows law enforcement to stitch together offenses over time and present them as a single case instead of independent prosecutions. For years, federal prosecutors have been expanding RICO's reach, and it is a very helpful resource to prosecutors to be able to include the context and pattern of crime when a criminal organization has engaged in multiple types of crime. I would only expect it to continue to grow out. And as we near this end of this most turbulent year of 2021, we lost a true giant this weekend, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a powerful force for nonviolence in South Africa's anti-apartheid movement, who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984, has died. He used his pulpit and spirited oratory to help bring down apartheid in South Africa and then become a leading advocate of peaceful reconciliation under black majority rule. His death was confirmed by the South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. The death was caused by cancer, and that Desmond Tutu died in a care facility. As leader of South Africa's Council of Churches, he had a unique and leading voice in helping to end apartheid. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.